Audio Jungle.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Gonzalez, and welcome back to your 6 o'clock afternoon news. Today's top story segment will be focusing on the current job market and how the United States economy has been affected due to the labor shortage. We'll be touching a couple relevant points, and we will also get the opportunity to hear from Kennedy Cash, a current business owner who was able to turn her hobby into a successful small business during the pandemic. So before any more ado, let's get right over to our first reporter of the afternoon, Brendan Hunt, who will be giving us a couple of statistics of the labor shortage in the medical world.
All across the country, several businesses and industries are struggling to find the employees to run a full operation. This is very relevant in the nursing industry, with a $1 million difference, or $1 million nurse difference between the demand and the supply in the nurses in the year 2020. This shortage leads to drastically different experiences for both the nurses and the patients involved. For the nurses, they'll have less time to assess and interact with their patients, which gives them way more room for error. This might lead to more stress, or any potential shortcuts could even be made. For the patients, you'll see a reduced performance in their health, a higher risk for their safety and health, and much more possibility for errors with this high stress environment. As you can see, the trend for this nursing shortage does not show promising results for the future. And if we do not come up with a compromise or a solution for this shortage, then we may seriously start to see spikes in morbidity and mortality rate all across the country and even all across the world. Back to you, Cindy.
Thank you, Brandon. Now let's hear what reporter Alexander Garcia has to say about how some jobs have remained remote as we transition into the post-COVID era.
Thank you, Cindy. So for today's topic, we're going to be talking about how COVID has affected the current workplace today. So because of COVID and its recent downfall, many companies have been offering their employees to work from home. Now, because of how jobs are set up today, including their technological framework, that allows many employees to access their work files from home. And it's because of this that it allowed a seamless transition for their employees to work from home and not have such a bad time during the pandemic. According to the Pew Research Center, it's estimated that about 70% of Americans have either participated in remote work or are currently enrolled in remote work. With that being said, there are also some downsides to working from home. When you work from home, you're also introduced to a lot of new interruptions, whether that be school, kids, or other scenarios. So working from home might have its benefits. You don't have to drive to your workplace, maybe interact with your coworkers, but you can also see the downsides of it. Now, this is affected by many upper tier and middle class tier workers. They're able to take advantage of this opportunity, and also those with a bachelor degree can mostly work from home. Workers that are in lower class tiers and have lower paying jobs such as retail or commercial driving, they're not allowed to take advantage of this opportunity just because of how the way their job is set up. So this and COVID shaping the way work is being done today has made a big impact between 2019 and the present day today. I'm very interested to see how COVID keeps on changing the workplace, and hopefully bigger things will happen. That's all I have for today. Thank you, Cindy. On to you now.
Thank you, Alex. So now let's hear from our guest of the night, Kennedy Cash, as she tells us a little bit about her journey of turning a hobby into successful and rapidly growing small business.
Thank you for having me. My name is Kennedy Cash, and I'm the owner of Sweet Treats Bakery out of Newark, New Jersey. Back when the pandemic hit, and about 2 years ago, I was a middle school math teacher, and I'd been driving home after a super long day at work of grading papers, creating lesson plans, when suddenly I heard that the entire country was shutting down and everyone needed to stay inside. I ended up finishing out the rest of the school year, but come summer, I was just super bored because I didn't know what to do with myself. So I ended up reverting back to an old COVID-friendly hobby of mine, which was baking. As a young girl, I used to always watch my grandmother and my mother bake and cook things from scratch in the kitchen, and that's, I think, where my interest was sparked. I would beg them to let me help them mix an already mixed batter or just lick the spoon, and they let me. Eventually, as I got older, I used to make my own recipes, and then about 13 or 14, I was creating my own recipes, and that's really how my passion for baking developed as a young kid. Obviously, when I started teaching, I wasn't able to commit as much time as I would have liked to baking, but this pandemic was definitely a blessing in disguise because it offered me the opportunity to rekindle an old passion of mine. So in July of 2020, when I was met with the decision to either go back to teaching or to continue baking, I ended up quitting my job despite the protests from some of my family members, and I committed my savings to starting a business, which is now a super fast growing bakery business out of Newark, New Jersey, and I'm just super grateful for the opportunity.
Thank you for sharing your story and for being here tonight, Mrs. Cash. So now let's move on to the last reporter of the afternoon, reporter Sabine, who will be talking a little bit about why people are refusing to go back to work.
Today we are live at Papa's Louisiana Kitchen. We are reporting on many reasons why people are not returning back to work since COVID hit. And those reasons are the health issues they be having and also unemployment benefits. And today I am with one of the managers, which is George, and then I'm gonna ask him, why do you think one of the reasons is people are not returning back to work?
Well, I think due to the pandemic, people are scared, the coronavirus, we're very short-staffed, so we're just trying to be a team and, do what we can do until we get some more staff going.
Yeah, so because of that, many people are receiving a lot of health benefit. The government are helping them a lot, and they be receiving wages like $300 a week, which is fair enough to not allow people to go back to work. In conclusion, the reason are COVID problem, health issue, and then benefits they be receiving by the government. And thank you very much. You were with Sabine with NTIG News. Thank you very much, George, for having us, and have a great day.
Thank you, Sabine. And with that, we conclude our top story segment of the day. Again, my name is Cindy Gonzalez, and a big thank you to all of the reporters who make this segment possible. We'll meet you back here after a short commercial break.